you're good.
Welcome back to the long version of the Vandy Rape Retrial. And we hope everybody will join us tomorrow morning. We're going to be on at 8:30. We hope we'll be back up and running regular by tomorrow morning. But we've done the best we could in our Warsaw tradition to try to in the bunker tradition. We've been trying to get something out to you, and we have. I want to make sure, last time, I don't want to gloss over this, I was kind of rushed. Let me explain something to you. Count 4 of the Corey Beatty indictment alleged that he had penetrated the victim with his penis in her vagina. That was an ag rape count. The jury acquitted Corey Beatty of ag rape. They convicted him of attempt in that count. Now, Tip McKenzie testified against Corey Beatty in the trial. Kathy, I'm sure that you recall this. Don't you think that if Tip McKenzie had ever before today told anybody that Corey Beatty admitted to him that he had penetrated the victim with his penis, don't you think they would have asked him to testify to that at Beatty's trial? It would have been 100% admissible. It would have come straight. It's an admission. Wouldn't they have asked him that? Why are they waiting to Vandenburg's trial to bring out a piece of evidence that would have guaranteed them, or very likely guaranteed them, that you think a jury would have acquitted Corey Beatty of penetrating the victim with his penis in her vagina if they knew that he had admitted it to Tip McKenzie? No. No. The answer is no. They wouldn't have. So I am. This trial is incredible. It's incredible to me. But Tip McKenzie has gotten up on the stand today, and that's just one instance. And if I went over all, maybe we'll do it tomorrow. You know, I'm a guest speaker tonight at the Sons of the American Revolution Flag Day ceremony. I'm speaking tonight. So I want to be able to make that because they're counting on me. But it is, you know, let me say this too. If you go back and look at my closing argument, Tip McKenzie said at the first trial that Brandon Vandenburg wasn't at the Popeyes. Today he puts him at the Popeyes.
The lady from Detroit called earlier from Fort Chatham.
Yeah.
And she was asking,
Brenda.
and I made a comment saying, you know, I hope he's not being put in a position where he's perjuring himself. And so, I mean, it's like Groundhog Day. We're seeing a different trial. We're seeing different things. And so now, you know, if whatever the truth was, if they just told it, you would think you'd know what it is. But now he's gotten himself in a position, I think, where he may be giving different testimony from what he's given in previous trials.
I think this. You remember the victim in the case was upset. Go back and pull the Tennessean article after Corey Beatty was acquitted of the charged offense and 4 of the first 5 counts at his trial. She was very upset at the performance of the district attorney's office, and she made some comments in the newspaper that she was upset. If they didn't gain a conviction in that count because a cooperating witness, they forgot to ask him about the defendant confessing to committing the offense in count 4. And they didn't put that in the record. And that's why he got an attempt instead of the charged offense. That's malpractice. I mean, that is contact your carrier. That is she had every right to be upset. She had every right to be mad. And I don't think that's a mistake that a Tom Thurman would make, or a Jan Norman, or a Roger Moore, which tells me, and I don't know what they should have done about it, but that tells me Tip McKenzie just got up there and said something that he's never before said. I can't say whether it's true, because with Tip McKenzie, you never know when he's lying.
I know.
I mean, Tip has lied persistently throughout the case. I don't know why this guy's getting a deal. You know, and we know he is, but I don't know why he's getting a deal. He's lied throughout the case, so I don't know what to believe. But I can tell you this, he's never before said what he said today in any proceeding in which he's ever testified, in any statement that he's ever given that was recorded and given back to us. He's never said this before.
I think we've had it on some others too. I think there's been a lot of new information, new things that we've never heard before. I mean, it's really like watching a completely different trial from the first one. You would have thought the first one would have had a lot of the things in there, especially this kind of testimony.
I mean, you've got video. Play the video and sit down. The more you go and the more witnesses you call, the more that you're leaving open
chances for there to be something
for
to go
Tip
wrong.
McKenzie's to ruin your case.
Because when they go wrong and you've already had a mistrial, there's already been a mistrial. We've got a second one where literally the client has gotten up and begged the judge to give him a new attorney.
In the middle of trial.
No, at the beginning of the trial.
Oh, at the beginning. Well, I think he renewed it during the trial.
Wait a minute, but he spoke and asked, and so now he's sitting. He got less. No testimony given that would have really been damaging to him. But now that testimony is being given against Vandenburg.
I'll say this.
So
I clearly argued, and it's on video, you can go play it. I clearly argued in the first case that Brandon Vandenburg was not even at the Popeyes. If I misspoke, if the evidence was contrary to that argument, Tom Thurman would have jumped all over that in his rebuttal, and he never said a word about it. So if I misspoke in that closing argument, it got by one of the finest prosecutors in the history of Middle Tennessee. Not bloody likely. That's what I'm going to tell you. Not bloody likely. And I'm going to tell you this. If Corey Beatty admitted to Tip McKenzie that he did in fact penetrate an unconscious woman with his penis in her vagina, if he ever made that statement, that should have been the first question asked Tip McKenzie at Corey Beatty's trial. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. We will see you guys tomorrow. I've got to go give a talk on patriotism and the flag at the Sons of the American Revolution meeting in Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
I'm going with you.
And Austin can go with me. Thank you guys for joining us. You've been getting the long version of the Vandy Rape retrial. We're out.